Simple question, difficult question?
Difficult.
I think there's a couple parts to this question. First of all, what do you want? I think we need to become clear about that. What do we personally want? What do you do? Forget about the rest of it. Just what do you really want in life? And then the second part of it is that can God give you what you feel you really want? Is that in the realm of God? God's will? Because is it in the realm of God's will to give you what you want? Maybe you want a spouse, maybe you want more money, maybe you want another job, maybe you want another opportunity, maybe you want different parents, maybe you want different kids. I mean, some things, you know, what do you want? What do you really want? What now? Well, you know, what do you, I mean, I'm just talking about, let's get gut real. What do you really want? And then the question is, how can God tap into that? Now, I want you to think about this. This is about your relationship with God. And I don't want you to get too spiritual about, and I'm not saying that it would be, maybe you don't ask for things like this, but I think there's something powerful about telling God exactly what you want. There's something powerful about it. And you know, just telling him, asking him what you want, he may talk to you about, do you really want that? Or how you could really get that. There's another way. I'm not going to snap my fingers and give that to you. I think a way that I would rather have you not go is say, well, Lord, you really know what I want. You tell me what I want or what I should have. No, I don't think so. I think we need to get honest about our wants and place them before God. Because that's what's in our way between us and God. That's the thing that's holding us back. If you could ask, what do you really want? What do you really want him to do for you? Let's take a closer look at these two different stories. There's Bartimaeus. They were both asked the same question. James and John, who were disciples, asked the same question. Bartimaeus asked for mercy. James and John demanded a favor from Jesus. You ever demand favors? It's sort of a mixed bag, isn't it? It's demanding a favor. That's what's going on there. Bartimaeus was blind and aware of his blindness. The disciples physically could see but were clearly unaware. They were unaware. Bartimaeus was aware. Bartimaeus, no formal relationship with Jesus. James and John were followers of Jesus. Isn't it interesting? Sometimes, have you seen this before? People that just come into church or get a hold of Jesus maybe for the first time, get a breakthrough that you wished you've had a breakthrough for years. There's James and, there's Bartimaeus. Bingo! Gets the breakthrough. Gets exactly what he wants. James and John say, well, you know, didn't happen. Some other types of issues going on. Bartimaeus. Jesus helped Bartimaeus become a responsible person. Before that, he was just a blind beggar. Did you notice, though, what Bartimaeus did? Let's go back. Your faith has healed you. Immediately he received his sight and did what?
Followed Jesus.
He followed Jesus. He couldn't follow Jesus when he was blind. Jesus helped give him an opportunity to become responsible. And you know, really, Jesus gave James and John an opportunity to become responsible by not all of a sudden giving them a position without helping them point out that their real problem was character. Because it really wouldn't have helped them out. They would have had the position and they would have fell out of the position because they didn't have the character to back up the position. So Jesus helped Bartimaeus become a responsible person. Jesus helped James and John become responsible disciples. Bartimaeus, his personal request was immediately granted. James and John, their personal request was not granted. It was granted by teaching. It wasn't immediate. It was saying this is going to be a process. For you to get to this place, it's going to be a process. It can't be like this. How many enjoy the process? John Wooden. He's not on the earth anymore. He's gone on to be with the Lord. He was a coach for UCLA. They've won 10 national championships in basketball over the years when he was coach. After he was done coaching, he was coached at different places, but that's where he really got his notoriety. Because I think in a 15-year period, he won 10 national championships in basketball. And he was asked later, what's the one thing you miss? What's the one thing you miss? And you might think, you miss the accolades or the championships and maybe the notoriety and the wins. You know what he said that he missed the most? Without flinching. He says, I miss the practices. Winners love the process. They love the practice. It's in the practices where we learn. It's in the practices where we know how to move and not move, and know where to stand and know how to pass the ball and score and defend. And it's in the process. It's in the grind. If we don't love the grind, I don't know if we'll get to the mountaintop. He says, I miss the practices. There's some football player I was reading about in the Akron Beacon Journal this last week. I forget his name. But it was told to him by one of his coaches, and it really marked him. His coach said to him, in order to be the winner, you have to love the process. I said, that's just a powerful statement. I think we just want, I don't know if we want a miracle. I think we want magic. We want Jesus just to poof it and make it right. I've been there before. James and John didn't want a miracle from Jesus. They wanted Jesus to perform magic. All of a sudden we get the opportunity, we get the job, we get this and we get this. It's the process. It's where we learn about ourselves, we learn about life, we learn about patience, we learn about perseverance, we learn about love. It's in the grind of it all where we really learn about ourselves. I think the miracle happens when we become responsible. That's the miracle. when we love the grind and actually want to grow. That's a miracle. So Peter and John, in some ways, were spiritually blind. They didn't see. They didn't even know what they were asking. They wanted the perks of being close to Jesus without paying the price. And they didn't get that. So, as I was thinking about that, let's just talk about briefly here, just 4 more things. 4 causes of spiritual blindness. Why? What keeps us from seeing? Blind Bartimaeus saw even though he was blind. The disciples, following Jesus, seemingly should be closer, but they were blind in some ways. Not in every way, but I mean, Jesus didn't kick them out and say, you ain't a disciple no more. But they didn't get it. Number 1, what causes spiritual blindness is pride. And what is pride? What is pride? My way. Your way. Okay, that's one. It's, okay, my way. That's the song that they sing as you go into the gates of hell. I did it my way. Okay, my way. I haven't been there in a dream either, but I could see it. Just get the old clip up, and I'm sure you can get on YouTube. My way. Listen to the song. The words are, I did it my way. Yeah, I guess you did. It took you all the way to the gates of hell. What else does pride do? It's about your way, and your way only.
Selfishness.
It's a selfishness?
Self-centered.
Or I way.
Excuse me?
I way.
I.
Or
Yeah.
I way. It's all about I. All about me. I'm the best.
Pride doesn't listen, does it? Does pride listen?
No.
It's you have this know-it-all thing. I know it. I don't. You're not open. A person that has pride is not open. They're not humble. They. Here's a couple passages. Psalm 10:4. The wicked in his proud countenance does not seek God. God is in none of his thoughts. Let's look at your prayers. How often you pray? God opposes the proud, gives grace, shows favor to the humble. The pride of your heart has deceived you. He cares for the humble, but keeps his distance from the proud. Pride. It's this holding on and stubborn about your stuff. It's arrogance. Number 2, habitual sin causes spiritual blindness. How does that do that?
Well, because you're constantly going for your flesh and overriding the spirit. I mean,
It desensitizes you.
yeah.
That's right, exactly. It desensitizes you, and it just, you become blind. It's like, and then it's like a cancer. It moves into a lot of other areas. We become insensitive, because it talks about here in 1 Timothy, whose consciences have been seared as with a hot iron. It's going to sear your conscience that you don't have the compassion anymore, a sensitivity anymore. Habitual sin. Number 3, preoccupation with worldly matters. Here it says in Matthew, the seed falling among the thorns refers to someone who hears the word, But the worries of this life and the deceitfulness